Hi guys, welcome back to the Spurred on podcast. And it's Wednesday, so another edition of Tottenham Transfer Rumours. Things are starting to heat up when it comes to the rumours coming out with January now, just over 10 days away. Very exciting. Important that I think we get 3 players through the door. That's what we've been told about in the rumour mill. The leaks coming out of the club are that they are looking to sign 3 players. A centre-half, a central midfielder, and ideally also someone who can play on both sides of the forward positions. So giving squad depth up against Brennan Johnson and Deki Kulusevski. So they are the rumours coming out of Bruno Lang at the club and his recruitment division. Now, before I get going with the leaks that I've seen about this week, please do continue your amazing support by following me or subscribing to me on the podcast platforms, be that Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If you're on Apple Podcasts, that would really help if you could leave me a little comment and a rating as well. And also come over to YouTube, where I'm at youtube.com/@BarnabySlater_ for this daily content. So let's get on with these Tottenham transfer rumours. First up, a big one that's been talked about quite a lot over the last few weeks, Radu Dragusin, 21 years old, centre-back from Genoa in Italy. He's played 13 times for Romania. He came to Genoa from Salernitana for €5.5 million, but before that, he was at Juventus in their underage groups. He's got real pedigree, international player, and there's no coincidence that they call him the Beast. He is absolutely massive, exceptionally strong, great for last-ditch tackling, not like massively quick, but also not slow. He can get back when he's in a one-on-one. If he's kind of 5 yards behind, I've seen lots of examples of him getting back for last-ditch slide tackles. And also, in terms of him kind of suiting Ange ball, very comfortable with the ball at his feet, not afraid to run out of his kind of own final third with the ball at his feet, but also doesn't freak out if he gets a chance in the opponent's box as well. I've seen him hit some really amazing finishes on the volley too. He's got a great strike on him and not afraid at all with the ball. So very much fitting with Ange ball. There is some kind of little caveat here I need to talk about when it comes to Dragusin. That is that he is very much rumoured to be about to sign a new contract with Genoa. What that means is, considering there's been a lot of talk about Tottenham Hotspur being interested, potentially some other clubs being interested, does it mean that his agent is utilising links with a club like Spurs, who are known to be looking for a centre-back, to get a better deal at the club he's already at? The rumours are that his current contract has a release clause of around €30 million. So it would make sense if you're his agent and if he's happy to stay at Genoa to renegotiate that contract so that he gets a better wage, and maybe Genoa, it suits them to get rid of that 30 million release clause when clubs are kind of circling around him like vultures. So it's quite hard to know what's going on really. Is it agent games where his agent is using Spurs to try and get a better deal? Or could it even be that Genoa need some money and are looking to use rumours of him signing a new contract to try and get Spurs to come in with that bid as soon as possible? All I know is that from what I've seen, he's a beast of a player, looks strong, aggressive, looks like he's a leader and a threat in both boxes in terms of defensively in his own box, but also great header of the ball, can finish, and really big guy if it comes to going forward. We are looking for that kind of spare third centre-half to fight with Mickey van der Ven and Christian Romero, and then I think Ben Davis, as we've seen, can do a great job as a squad player coming in when needed as that left-sided centre-half too. So this one, Radu Dragusin, seems to me like it could be a potential. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 in terms of my ratings of the chances of it happening. Now to one of those kind of more opportunist transfer links where we all know that Spurs are always looking at younger players who are kind of maybe coming up in the Championship. We've talked about a few of them in previous episodes. Go and check them out if you haven't seen. Here is another one for Middlesbrough. Hayden Hackney, 21 years old, central midfielder / defensive midfielder. 5'8", so quite diminutive in stature. Played 5 times for England under 21s. We know that Spurs are currently always on the lookout for opportunities to buy young English talent again. This is something we were incredibly successful back in the kind of Damien Comolli days. Frank Arneson even kind of maybe started trying to do that a little bit before he was poached by Chelsea when he was our sporting director. But Comolli really brought that in, and for a number of years back when the club was growing up towards its kind of Champions League years, when we were still trying to get up the table and get into Europe regularly, the way that we would try to do that in terms of transfers was to buy young English talent, your likes of Michael Carrick, Jermaine Defoe, Robbie Keane, not British, but you know what I'm talking about, and then obviously the main one, Gareth Bale. So this is midfielder Hayden Hackney, as I mentioned, came up through the academy at Middlesbrough. He's played 16 appearances in the championship this time, and has helped them to the Carabao Cup semi-finals. Rumours are that Manchester United are also interested in him. He is a good mid-range passer, very brave on the ball. Like I said, not the biggest and not the quickest either. In danger of, annoying a lot of the Spurs fan base here, but reminds me a little bit of Harry Winks, who of course got a really poor deal, I think, with the Spurs fans. He's a good progressive ball player, Harry Winks, and I think when other good players are around him, as they were when Pochettino was the manager, would look better as a Spurs player. But obviously he's gone on to Leicester now and is absolutely ripping it up in the Championship there. Hayden Hackney's got a great right foot on him, great strike, can pick out a good through ball, eye of a needle stuff, which shows that he has really good vision. Also loves a good diagonal, which Ange isn't afraid to make his players play. And he reads the game well. I've noticed a lot of very important interceptions he's made for Middlesbrough, which means that they then can hit their opponent on the transition. Again, something that Big Ange wants in his midfielders, to press high, read the game well, intercept opponents' play, and then get us on the transition quickly to get our pacey wingers and Sonny through, if Sonny is of course playing number 9. I like Hackney. He's composed under pressure, even in his own box where it looks like danger is happening. If the ball drops to him, he doesn't just smash it away, he gets the ball down, and that is something of course that will suit Ange's play as well. So this is an interesting one. Lots of rumours around Hayden Hackney. I'm going to give this another 7 out of 10. It's definitely the kind of signing I could see us making if we're willing to pay kind of around the 10 to 15 million pounds mark. There is, of course, the English player tax. And even though it's an English player in the Championship, that is a tax that still needs to be paid when buying from an English club for an English homegrown player. So let's see what happens. I don't know necessarily whether this is something that will happen in January. I'm not sure he would immediately get into our kind of first team reckoning. And obviously we have Jamie Donnelly kind of now really knocking at the door to get more minutes in that kind of midfield role. He's more of an attacking midfielder, though, I'd say, than Hayden Hackney. But let's see what happens. Bruno Lang clearly looking at these young English opportunities, so it could be one. Let's go on. Morato from Benfica. I've talked about him in a previous video. Please go and dig that out. He's a very talented Brazilian centre-half at Benfica. More rumours that he may be coming to Spurs as that third centre-back that we're looking for. Apparently, Benfica only looking for £30 million. That's what I've read from some of the journalists doing the rounds with their stories this week. That seems unlikely to me. One thing that is possible in terms of buying from Portugal, yes, they will sell if the money is right, even in January. But £30 million for a talented Brazilian centre-half seems a bit too little, considering what we paid for Pedro Porro, who of course is a right back, and we paid upwards of £45 million for him. So I'm not sure how likely it is, but the talk of Morato is really heightening up around this coming January. So keep that one in your heads as something that could well happen, especially towards the end of January, because those Portuguese clubs, they like to kind of push for as much money as they can. Look at what Enzo cost. He came from Benfica for Chelsea. But if the money is there towards the end of the window, that is one that could be happening. And of course, the big talk this week, the Nice centre-half Tobido as well. I'm not sure about that one. This seems a little too good to be true because there are lots of huge clubs sniffing around this player. He's been incredibly talented Nice this season. He's incredibly talented, but he's played incredibly well this season. Nice second or third in the league in France, doing incredibly well. Would he want to leave while they're doing that well? Rumours are that he does want to play for Big Ange. He loves the way that Spurs have been playing this season and thinks playing centre-half for a Big Ange team would be something he wants. This is huge for me because the way that we've been playing in the last 4 or 5 years has not made big players and big talented players want to come to us that often. This player now, if his agent and the rumours are to be believed, could be interesting Tottenham Hotspur. And I can see why. It'll be more fun playing for Spurs. They see that they're going forward. People are liking what they're seeing. And that is very exciting. But again, Man United supposedly interested. A few other clubs interested who need centre-halves. And we would have to push the boat out financially. But all the talk is that Tottenham have been in conversations with his representatives. So If they get the sniff that he's interested, they will talk to Nice and try and get a deal done. Again, as much as Big Ange wants the players through the door in early January, that's not how Daniel Levy works. It would surprise me, no matter how much we need it, if that happened, because he knows that he could get potentially as much as £10 million off the price if he waits till the very end of January, and perhaps even more so if he waits till the summer. It's not my preference for what I want to happen, but we've seen down the years that is what happens. Finally, something I wanted to talk about very briefly, Dortmund interested in Sergio Reguilon. He's at Manchester United without a loan fee. They're just paying for his wages. So if we were to get an offer of, say, £15 million, I think realistically we would snap Dortmund's hands off this January. He's looked good at Man United. The fans like he's a trier. If we can get him off the wage bill and get a little bit of money for him, I think that's one that could happen. Keep your eye on it. Thanks so much for watching and listening, guys. Once again, please do press that follow or subscribe button wherever you are. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, please come to YouTube, youtube.com/@BarnabySlater_, and vice versa. Please find me on the Spurred On podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and drop me a little comment there and a rating. Thanks so much for your support. Come on, you Spurs.